Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Encore presentation of 50 super fresh ideas for leadership, team motivation, marketing, and leasing, which was rated the #1 favorite session by 900 plus attendees at the 2016 NAA Student Housing Conference in Chicago last month. This session was one of 16 breakout sessions focused on operations in the off-campus student housing market. We have an amazing lineup of speakers today who will share some of their fresh and powerful ideas from their work on the front lines of student housing. If you weren't lucky enough to attend the conference, you can still have a chance to dive into all the great content that was shared there. Our sister organization, the National Apartment Association Education Institute, is proud to present Rewind, collection of 16 PowerPoint-linked audio and video recorded sessions from the 2016 NAA Student Housing Conference. Purchasing this powerful online learning tool allows you to have ongoing access to some of the very best education and training content in the industry. You can share that content with colleagues via training sessions and brown bag lunches, and you can also earn up to 6 CECs towards your NAAEI designation renewal. The purchase price is $149 for the 16 session set, and it's a great investment in your professional development. And you might also be interested to know about another great learning opportunity. Join NAAEI, the Apartment All-Stars, and Multifamily Insiders for Webinar Wednesdays, the largest premium webinar series in the industry to provide state and local association members with access to industry thought leaders to discuss innovative ideas, best practices, and emerging industry trends. These webinars will give participants the tools they need to become industry superstars in their own right. The webinars cover industry trends and timely topics. They're available at a one-time or subscription price, and they also offer CECs, continuing education credits, towards your designation. For this crowd in particular, you should know that Webinar Wednesdays has a series focused specifically on student housing. Learn more at www.naahq.org/online learning. And last but not least, please mark your calendars for the 2016 NAA Education Conference and Exposition, which is coming up June 15th through the 18th in beautiful San Francisco, California. This event is the largest single gathering of the multifamily housing professionals in the entire world, and we expect close to 10,000 attendees this year. Mark your calendar for June 15th through the 18th, and I hope to see you in San Francisco. Okay, I'm done with all my commercials. Now we can turn our sights towards today's presentation. I'm going to hand off to Kate Good to get the ball rolling. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Clark. Thank you so much. And welcome, everybody, to 50 super fresh, super fun ideas for us going into this exciting leasing season. I love that we're doing super fresh. This is the only time you can be super fresh at work without getting in trouble. So without further ado, I want to share with you my first idea. This is an idea that I picked up from Alliance Residential. One of the things that we're focusing on in the industry right now is the ability to attract great talent to our companies. And Alliance talked to their team members, and many of their team members pointed out that they can work in really beautiful spaces with great pool views and mountain views or desert views, and these would just make for a beautiful work day. So they started a campaign that follows #ThisIsMyOffice, and they invited some of their team members to have pictures taken in their office, and you'll see this all throughout their social media. Speaking of leasing offices, let's move to the next idea, which is all about the instant welcome. This is my good friend Jenny, and she and I walked into an apartment community in Dallas, Texas, and we were instantly gravitating towards the insta-welcome, where we could quickly take some SCs of us, put in our information, and have those pictures emailed to us. And it just created that whole social, let's have fun while we're here, and started to shape that lifestyle that we were looking for in a future home. So I love to see the integration of this kind of social technology in our leasing offices. Now, many of you have probably heard about PackageGate. Package gate is the conversation that's going on among a lot of management companies right now about the constant influx of packages that we're seeing arrive into our leasing centers every day. And during the holiday seasons, it can be so overwhelming. Well, some companies have decided that they're not going to accept packages anymore. While other companies are saying, we're still going to package it, we're still going to accept those packages, and we're going to make it part of our marketing. And that's something we did at my apartment community in Houston, Texas, Vargas on the Lake. We started a campaign where we said, we'd love to handle your package, if you get what I mean. And we also said, we're pet, package, and people friendly. So we want the world to know that there are some apartment communities that are no longer accepting packages, but we feel that it's a great way to interact with our residents. So if that's a decision that you've made to continue doing that, remember, it could be a great sales tool going into the new year, as many apartment communities are no longer offering that. Let's move on to the next idea I want to share with you in our Super Fresh Day. And this is just a little idea I ran across through some creativity. Right now you're looking at a Yelp screen, and Yelp has a bunch of pictures on it. We know people can put reviews up there. When I first opened up my apartment community, we were getting a lot of reviews on Facebook, but we weren't seeing them on the other sites. So what I did was take a clip out of those reviews on Facebook, saved it as a JPEG, and then uploaded it to places like Yelp. And then on the next screen, you're going to see apartmentguide.com, where I uploaded them also into our photo carousel. So as you're clicking through and you see beautiful pictures of the pool and the lifestyle there, you're also going to see what people who live there think about our apartment community. We know that people go and look at those pictures before they make a decision to set an appointment or stop by your leasing office. So we want our positive reviews to be out in front of us so that people are really taking advantage of that good information and helping them make their decisions. The next two ideas I'm going to share with you are all about Bluetooth. The first one is the Bluetooth shower head. Now look at this happy person taking a shower. Who wears their sunglasses to the shower? Well, you might if you're rocking out to some great tunes, as she's doing, because right in the middle of that shower head is a Bluetooth speaker. And that Bluetooth speaker can pop out and go with you anywhere throughout the apartment as long as it stays close to your phone, because your smartphone is projecting music through that Bluetooth speaker. I love this shower head. This one is by Kohler. If you go to jet.com, you'll also see there's a couple choices on jet.com. They're a little less expensive than the Kohler one. Now, some uses that we're hearing in the industry right now, in a few minutes you're going to hear from my good friend Barry Nichols. She loves this idea, and her team has been using it as a prize through some of the events that they do. I've heard people using them for renewal gifts, a party prize. Even one apartment community used it as the item that you're trying to find on the scavenger hunt. And the first one to find that Bluetooth speaker, got to keep it. Moving along with Bluetooth, how about Bluetooth track lighting? Yep, this is track lighting that has a Bluetooth speaker in it, and it comes with a sound pad that installs into the ceiling above it, so it won't transfer the sound to the apartment above it. Again, the speaker will be automated by your smartphone. So you can be sitting in the kitchen area, send some tunes to your track lighting, and have some music while you're picking up your Sunday breakfast. I'm seeing a big trend right now in marketing, and that's the idea that we are creating indebtedness. In other words, we're going to offer something before we ask for something. So we're offering free information, free items and products before we ever ask somebody to buy something. This is a trend that I'm seeing more and more and more of. Offer something exclusive. Make it personal. When you offer this, what you're doing is you're getting that customer's attention as more of a friend than just a customer, because you're offering them something for free. You build that relationship with them, and then you ask them to buy. And let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon's been doing this for years. They'll offer you a chance to take a look inside the book or try a sample before you actually buy it. And what they believe is that sends more people to the actual buy cycle than just shopping around, because they really get to witness the product before they buy it. One smart apartment community has done that with their pool party. They're inviting people to come on out to the pool party before they're even residents, so they get a taste of that lifestyle. Now, I recommend that you have those people stop by the leasing office first and sign a waiver so that you're protected from any liability that may result. But you're taking something that you're already doing, and you're inviting future prospects. so that they see what it's like living at your apartment community. The next idea I'm so excited about, but I got to warn you, it's hard to do. This is called surf fitness. And now, wherever you live in the country, you can experience what it's like to be on a surfboard. And what many apartment communities are doing is they're buying these surfboards, and it's like a surfboard that's sitting on a balance ball. So it really works your core. It's a tough workout. You're going to see in the video that's coming up next some people working out with their surf fitness. And what I love about this is you can just add one or two of these to any fitness room, and you've updated your fitness offering for your team. Kim, can you click the slide so we can see what it looks like? Okay, here comes the video. And let me tell you, these people are getting a workout. So you can have different classes on it if you order a few of these, or it's just something that can be self-guided. There's now virtual fitness channels that are focused on surf living. I'm building a new apartment community, so we're going to have a whole surf fitness room that is also going to be our yoga room too. And then an existing apartment community, I ordered 2 of them because we wanted to see what they were like, and so many of our residents love it. They've asked us to get some more. So I love the surf fitness. These run about $400 or less depending on the quantity that you order. Now, a little more low-key, but a great amenity that I'm seeing apartment communities add is different specialty studios. What you're looking at here is a paint studio. Painting has gotten to be so popular, and this is something that you don't have to be a great painter to come on out and try your hand at it. We've seen paint studios pop up in some of our cities. In Houston, we've got Peanuts Palette. I certainly love it because I can take a glass of wine in with me. But at this apartment community, they're reporting that their paint classes are so popular, they've outgrown this paint room, and they've had to go to a bigger room. So bravo for finding an amenity that so many residents are loving. All right, now I'm going to take you on vacation with me. I was down in the Caribbean where my sister lives, staying at the Marriott, walking through this beautiful area, and we saw a sign that says, hey, take a selfie. And it reminded us what hashtags Marriott wants us to use so they can participate in social posting. So, of course, I took a picture. There's a picture of me with my man, Justin, and I posted that to social media. He doesn't like doing social media, but, of course, I had to do that for Marriott. And, of course, now it's in the webinar. You guys have seen it. He's not going to be too happy about it. But we love to take our selfies, but we want people to use our hashtags. So when you put signs out there, you're reminding people what hashtag you want them to use. Lululemon reminds us to behave like a friend, not a brand. And I think Lululemon is doing a great job of that. If you look at their bag that they put all your purchases in, it's all supporting you and helping you be that better person that you want to be. They want to be your friend, your partner in that, and they hope that their products are participating in everything that you do for self-improvement. So take a clue from Lululemon, who's really spotting one of these great marketing trends right now, which is behaving like a friend, not just a brand. So when you're thinking about your future marketing campaigns, think about how you can bring that friendship aspect into everything that you do. I love to put my team front and center because I believe they're so awesome, and I think it's people that really close leases. And here's 2 examples of different apartment communities to put their team members front and center on their websites and in their social media, so that when you come to this apartment community, you feel like you've already met these people. And wouldn't that help to convert and create more leases? As so many of our residents are enjoying their time out by the pool, how about adding a solar charging station? This is provided to my apartment community by Green Mountain Energy. So many of the energy companies can add this to your apartment community right now. A full charge of the solar-powered charging station will charge 300 cell phones from 0 to full. Now, you know, people don't want to leave the pool when they need that charge, so this will make sure that all of your residents get the most out of a sunny day. And while we're talking about our team members, I want to talk about how we enhance their learning. There's a new company that is taking learning on in a new respect, and it's Grow Learning Management Systems. They really want you to feed your mind with smaller segments of learning. The majority of their classes are under 15 minutes. In fact, most are around 7 minutes. And they can be dialed up on your smartphone. So learning can happen anywhere while you're waiting for an appointment or while your CAs are waiting for a class to start. They can be getting some, experiencing some great training at any time. And I think these shorter tidbit learning classes have a higher level of retention as well, because our retention drops after about minute, I think it's 13 in the learning process. So if you have a 45-minute online learning class, they're not picking up those last 20, 30 minutes. And then the last thing I want to share with you is about residents helping residents. Residents can go beyond just, giving you a resident referral. Residents can participate in things like our list, resident awards. Residents invite other residents to do things, clubs, groups, different things happening. On the next screen, you're going to see some different brands that are doing that. What they're doing is they're pointing out what their customers love to do, and then invite other customers or future customers to see that you've got friends within this brand. You've got friends at this apartment community who enjoy doing the things that you love to do. So I like when your residents come on board to help spread that message. So those are my super fresh ideas for today. And now I'm going to turn it over to the one and only Barry Nichols.
All right, thank you, Kate. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be going on, working on this panel again. I'm Barry Nichols, Vice President of Leasing and Marketing with University Student Living. I wanted to share just this fun next slide just to set the tone. This slide seems appropriate due to the labor-intensive business that we all enjoy. So working in student housing is easy. It's like riding a bike, except the bike's on fire, you're on fire, everything is on fire, and you're in hell. That was something we used for one of our first annual property manager meetings. So with that being said, I'm going to go right into Google Hangouts. One of the things that we like to do is motivate our teams. That's one of our super fresh ideas that we want to share with you. These are actual screenshots of our team playing Deal or No Deal, just like the show. They get to choose a case, and then the team wins a prize. So you can use this to play games on your weekly calls or monthly calls if they meet their goals and any other objectives that you set for them. We've had a really great success with motivating our teams, from maintenance, part-timers, all of our office staff. They get to participate and each win a prize. Thanks to Kate for the idea of the Bluetooth shower heads, because we used that for one of our last round of prizes. 67% of our properties met their goal the first month we played. The second month, 83%, and we've played one more time since NAA, and we had 100% of our properties make their goals. So when is the last time someone said, hey, when's the next conference call? I can't wait. The next slide is about engaging. Use your property software. You can utilize your property software on any type of call that you have, whether it's training, a marketing call. One of the things that we tried was to play Entrada Roulette, or whatever your property software that allows you to record calls at your next meeting. That's something that if you're using Entrada or you're using another type, you can actually select a property, play a sales call, and if it's a great job, that person can receive instant gratification. So set the expectation, give the motivation, and earn the rewards, and watch your phone shop scores increase. This next slide is actually Energize, weekly staff meetings. One of our fantastic managers, Erin, who is in an extremely overbuilt market, wanted to improve her customer service. So she created a fun way to energize her team during their weekly staff meetings. We all have those. She stalks her residents on social media, prints their pictures to show the team, and then they have to match the names to the residents. The one who gets the most matches wins. I do have a short clip of a video that Erin shared, and this is an actual staff meeting. And no, it's not a college drinking game. I want you to see how excited they are. So you can play that.
Yes, you did.
That's just a fun clip. I know, we're not in person, but that was amazing. This has actually resulted in people writing reviews for their property and really have gotten the customers to feel like this is a fantastic place to live. So great job to our team for sharing that. The next thing that we want to talk about are iBeacons. iBeacons are something new that you can put up in your clubhouses, on your model tour routes. You can go to the next slide. If you haven't heard about iBeacons, iBeacons are an indoor proximity system that enables a smartphone or other device to perform actions when you're close to it. Facebook is actually launching these, and you can request them for your particular location. Other service providers like Modern Message are going to be incorporating this into their program. So imagine if you can, what are the possibilities with leasing, that you can promote events when people are in close proximity to your clubhouse, in your gym. You can remind people on the tour route, hey, don't forget to sign that lease, or refer your friends. It's just a really great new technology that's on the horizon. The next thing that I have today, and I don't know how many people are taking advantage of it, is e-gift card delivery. This actually, you can instantly send MasterCard, Amazon, e-gift cards for leasing incentives to residents for referrals, renewals, new leases, or even reward your property managers who sign the most leases. This is just something that eliminates your operational headache of having to handle gift cards or be responsible. The great thing about this is you can actually recapture unused gift cards. And then, like I said, you can definitely reward your team. Gift cards can be sent as low as $25 and as high as $2,000. So this is a fantastic thing to take advantage of. The next thing that we're going to talk about is advocacy marketing strategy. You have to discover your advocates with gamification marketing and get them to talk about you online in exchange for points. If you can advance to the next slide, it's important for you to be able to see how it works, that you offer your residents points for writing positive reviews, referring other people to your property, sharing on social media. You know, we do know that peer-to-peer marketing is one of the best things you can have as far as positive reviews, and this gamification actually encourages that. It also, you can utilize surveys, find out what are the type of things that people want to do. So this is a great program that we love to take advantage of. The next slide is one of my favorites. It's Snapchat. I was able to speak on Snapchat last year with my good friend at Lease Lab, Steven, and you know, Snapchat is, you know, everybody, it's not for texting, so look at who's joining. You know, the Wall Street Journal's on it. They put together a Snapchat 101 guide. The White House is on it. Check out BuzzFeed, who just released a video of some of its features. Here's some interesting stats. Obviously, you can see those 6 billion videos viewed daily. That's amazing. You know, you want to definitely be part of this conversation. The next slide is just some examples of how some of our team uses Snapchat. They'll snap us during the day to let us know what's going on in their offices. They took a picture of me at a turn when I had to plunge a toilet. I know the maintenance teams really love that. It's a fun way to keep engaged with your employees and also be part of your student conversation. The next slide is some of the marketing ideas that we've used. We actually use table tents for business-to-business marketing, just, you know, going and putting these on campus, at businesses. We actually have seen more engagement on these event table tents that we put up during events, and it really, more people add us than any other social media channel. So you can point, tap, and snap and add people on instantly. Obviously, our staff uses it to tweet out things, or I mean, not tweet out things, but present things while we're having actual events. We did an internal T-shirt campaign that the staff really loved, and that actually turned into a T-shirt that we distributed to our residents. The next thing that we have is leverage technology for marketing. We actually use GroupMe to stay connected with our leasing managers. Mashable rated GroupMe in the top 100 apps. We also have I use Google Drive because I converted to Gmail from last year. You know, and this is something that I love. It's fantastic. It keeps you really organized. It keeps you connected to your files when you're on the go. The next thing that we've utilized is Adobe Post. This is something that you can use for your social media graphics. It has trending ideas and things. There's so much technology out there. You really just need to pick some of these platforms and make sure you're taking advantage of them. We have right now, you know, as we discussed, we have Google Hangouts. Kim Corey is going to talk about Slack, HipChat. There's just a lot of different technologies out there that we need to take advantage of. So that's something that, these are just some of the ones that I've used. The next idea that I have been using for quite a while is Basecamp. I don't know, this is probably one of the most intuitive collaboration platforms that I've seen. It tracks your projects, allows you to make assignments, receive notifications, and then there's an actual shot next of your mobile application where you can comment on things that are projects that you're working on with multiple people. You can see these comments real time to develop your different projects that you have going on. The beauty of this is there's actually, you can use this across multiple divisions in your company. You could set it up for construction or IT. You can actually set up templates, which are fantastic to utilize. And then I think the last one was just the, yep, so there's another mobile application of Basecamp. And like I said, very intuitive. This next slide, we cannot talk about all these different things that we're talking about without talking about leadership. And one of the things that we do at the Michaels organization, which is our parent company, we do virtual town hall meetings for communication with our senior leadership team and company updates. We can engage remote locations across the country, chat questions during the meeting. These are all done via Google on Air, and it's just so fantastic to feel really connected with your teams across the country. You can do this whether you're a big company or a small company. Another thing is, you know, leadership awards, employee of the month. There's just a lot of different things that you should do to be recognized in your teams, because we do have to get all the things that we're asking. This is a people business. Another thing is scholarships and give back programs. Those are really key to keeping residents and prospects engaged in your mission. We've seen a lot of improvement in our employee surveys across all of our companies. So the next slide and my last idea is partnering with a cool brand. One of our leasing managers, Charlotte, who's fantastic, heard Uber was coming into her market and kept retweeting their information. Their corporate office at Uber contacted her and designed these materials, and now we're working with them. You know, think outside the box. It's not just for pizza places anymore. You know, keep up with national players coming into your area. Reach out to them for possible opportunities. College students love Uber. The next idea for a brand is BarkBox. You know, what if you are pet friendly? You could partner with a brand like BarkBox. What if instead of an incentive, you offered pet owners a subscription for their dogs? That right-hand slide is my dog, Sweet Pea, who I FaceTime when I'm out of town. But it's like dogs are so important to a lot of people, and so many student housing properties are actually becoming pet-friendly. So this is just a perfect segue into doing something like that. So the last thought that I have, this was my last slide, is just remember the saying we always have. I've been in the business for a really long time, and we always say, always be closing. That's what we live by. But what if we added, always be connecting? You know, taking care, being connected with your employees, your customers, then we all win. So we are in a people business, so taking care of what matters most, people's children. So let's motivate, energize, and engage and train our team. So thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it over to the fantastic Kim Corey.
Thank you, Barry. Hopefully all of you are still with us. I know we're about halfway through. There are so many great super fresh ideas. Barry, I love the Snapchat, but I just keep thinking about the bend and snap from Legally Blonde. So I think that you should actually do a bend and snap on Legally Blonde. I think it would be hilarious. But anyhow.
Okay, nobody can see me. I'll do that in my office now. Thank you.
Good, that was just an idea. There's lots of great ideas, and I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit. You know, in my spare time, yes, I'm a cyclist, but I've also taken on the role of a stylist with Encore. And I have to tell you, working outside of our industry and working for a big luxury retail brand has been invigorating. And so I want to share some of the different ideas and principles that, you know, the retail industry has been doing for years that really relates to what we do in multifamily, whether you're in student housing, conventional, or even affordable. It really comes down today to about service and about the experience. And one of my favorite quotes that Michael Kors has is that fashion is like making porridge for Goldilocks. It can't be too hot. It can't be too cold. It has to be just right. And that same principle applies to our apartment communities, right? Everything has to be just right, from the experience when they first walk in our doors for a tour, from the time that they sign a lease, all the way to the time of move out. Everything has to be perfect. And so one of the ideas I'd like to share with you is to take a look at other industries besides just our competitors. A lot of us do competition shops, right? We call our competitors, we go out and visit their communities, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly. Not saying that that's not relevant or important, but maybe add a little bit of a twist. Maybe once a quarter you go out and you send your teams out to some of the different retailers. If you're a luxury brand, take a look at, or luxury community, take a look at some of the luxury brands. See what they're doing. How does it feel? A lot of it is about today the emotional intelligence, the emotional experience, and also the customer service that these industries are providing to keep their consumers happy and for them to continue spreading the word of mouth. I also really love this example, and Michael Kors calls it the jet set service model. So what can you do at your community to deliver this jet set service model? You and your teams might want to create your own Michael moments where you kind of figure out what is it that you want your customers, your residents, your prospects to feel every time they interact with you, whether that's in person, through social media, you know, through move-in day. What is that experience? Create your own service model that your entire team can live and breathe by. And every day when they walk in the door, they should be exuding those, what we call our Michael moments. Well, you know, one of the first things that, you know, I really liked when joining there was that hiking up the sale, that it's not just about, oh, I just want to find a 2-bedroom apartment. You know, you're really hiking it up by bringing in the other experiences of your communities, all the resident lifestyle features that you have, the different experiences that you've created for residents through events. So really thinking differently about how you can hike up the sale. I also love what the fashion industry and also the automotive industry has done to create words that represent that look and feel and sound of their brand or their product. And we can really do the same with our own communities. You know, we've all been there, done that, where it's the, you know, the sparkling swimming pool and, you know, other kind of outdated, I guess you could say, words to describe your community. So think about some of the different fashion or even into the hotel industry that they use to represent their brands and how that can correlate into your own community. And I went ahead and created something for Kate. This is Kate's property, and one of the things I think you can do with utilizing some of the unique opportunities to describe your communities is also through follow-ups with your prospects. You know, create some sort of like postcard where you are doing a featured floor plan of the week, or instead of it, you know, if you're not really doing specials or concessions, this is a great way to capture their attention without having to give something away. You create that feature. You know, for this one here, we have the location, and it's called Sporty. You know, deep breaths away from the yoga, core, and stretch studio, because we all know it's less stressful to switch from skinny jeans to yoga pants. So find some fun ways to describe, you know, your yoga or your fitness center versus just fitness center. I like the styling details, you know, the chic kitchen with entertaining in mind. You know all your friends want an invite to dinner living at Vargo's. And it pairs great with under-cabinet lighting and wine chillers. Luxury is dining in your own space where gratuity is not added onto the memories. So really find some fun ways to describe your apartment communities and the models versus just the traditional methods. Really look outside the box in other industries to help you with this. One other idea I have, and this is more for team motivation and training and leadership, and that is really let's create some sort of, floor director daily team chat-in. I hear constantly from peers and others in our industry that the biggest challenge we have is, especially in student housing, are most of our leasing and CAs are part-time. Sometimes they work once a week. Sometimes, they don't work for several weeks, or they're working only a few hours a shift. Well, as you know, a lot changes on site, and everything from our inventory, from specials and promotions to even resident events. So what I really like about a daily team chat-in is that it creates accountability. Maybe you, elicit a senior team leader to kind of be that team chat-in leader, and every time you show up for your shift, you go and see that team leader, and that team leader chats you in for things that are happening around your community, setting the goals. It helps with training opportunities and creates that sense of urgency that everybody is feeling in your team to lease up. Slack, as Barry mentioned, there's so many amazing tools. Slack is probably my #1 top favorite tool that I use all the time. And what I really like about Slack for our apartment communities, and also for continuing team growth and development, is the communication through Slack. And you can create a Slack group for your specific apartment community and include your CAs, maybe it's your street team, your leasing, it could be maintenance. And then what I like about it is, you see over the left I have marketing highlighted. You can upload your own files, and so even if you want to create groups within your own company for different communities, and one apartment community is struggling for ideas for events or different ways to do promotions, you can upload those files and share them. And it's a great opportunity for CAs to have discussions about different types of events that they want to host at the community. So it's a great not only learning but sharing tool. Grammarly has to be one of those tools that I wish I would have known about a while ago, and I don't believe that it was out several years ago. But we all take professionalism very seriously within our marketing collateral, our material, our lease documentation, especially with grammar. But the one area that I continue to see so many mistakes on are emails, correspondence to residents. And what I love about Grammarly, it's free. You can download it to your computer. And it's not like spell checker. Spell checker is just literally for, a spelling of words. But Grammarly is a free tool that helps you to change it into the right and correct appropriate language that matches the grammar that you're communicating. So definitely check out Grammarly. It's a free tool. Why not? Barry and Kate both shared something I'm very passionate about, and that's who you are. It's a personality. Kate made a good statement about Lululemon, and that, they're wanting to be your friend and not just a brand. And I think that resonates so deeply within our apartment communities. They get to know us as teams, as individuals, and they want to get to know us before they even move in. So, find some fun ways to describe who your team is on your website, on some of your social media pages. Kate mentioned a little bit about having your team, having a little bit of a personality about yourself, not just, I'm a leasing consultant at, Happy Trails. So I really think that that's a great opportunity to have a little bit of fun about who you are as an individual, not just who the community is. And this goes along with Barry's BarkBox, which I love BarkBox, and I love that you can do a pup dater. So a lot of our communities are pet friendly, and think about having some of your team's pets or some of the residents' pets, and just featuring them on your website. I really think that ties into that emotional experience and intelligence that consumers are looking for today as part of the living experience. And WeChat, if you've not heard about WeChat, I strongly encourage you to look at it. WeChat is an amazing tool. It's really predominantly built for international students. However, a lot of domestic students are utilizing WeChat. And what's great about WeChat is that it's similar to Facebook. However, it allows you to discover people nearby. So I encourage you to download WeChat and take a look at how many of your residents within your community, how many meters, how many miles are within your actual community, and you'll probably be surprised by how many residents are already engaging in WeChat. You can also create your own community's group page, just like you do on Facebook. And I really like what University Village at Ohio State University is doing, where they're actually sharing surveys through Facebook and WeChat. So they're really communicating both with their domestic and international students. And finally, my last great idea, super fresh for today, is we have a lot of international students and we have a lot of domestic students who, quite frankly, college students today really don't own credit cards. And a lot of them come in and pay with money orders. And it is an absolute nuisance for us to collect those money orders. Not only that, but it's a theft risk on site. And NetSpend has an amazing card that acts as an ACH debit card. So for your international students or any student who typically pays with money order, introduce them to NetSpend. It's a completely free way for them to pay rent with you, but they can also load it at places like Walmart, pretty much anywhere, and they can also use it to buy books. They can use it for shopping. So it's more than just a Visa prepaid card for them to pay rent and avoid the fees that are typically associated with paying rent online by credit. And now I'd like to turn it over to Miss Jessica Nix.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. I am so glad that we're redoing this again. I have a completely new set of notes from things that I was not able to capture the first time we did this. So I hope everybody else is finding it as useful as I am. The first idea that I want to talk about is virtual reality tours. So you probably have been hearing about virtual reality for quite some time. The problem with virtual reality in the past is that the technology was novel, or the idea was novel, but the technology had glitches. There would be, the videos wouldn't stream well, people were getting nauseous, so it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. Well, recently, there's been many companies that have been making a move to improve the tech on this. And not only has a company, Oculus, used $2 million to create these incredible goggles that you can get for $600, but Facebook is so into it, they actually purchased the company for $2 million. So that was, somebody made a lot of money on that one. What you could do as far as your student housing communities, you can actually have 360 footage created of your amenities, your model, your events, and you can use these goggles to take to housing fairs, to tailgates, when you speak to clubs or orgs, so that everybody knows that if you can drive traffic to your clubhouse, your closing ratio goes up significantly. Well, now with these goggles, you don't even have to get them to your clubhouse. They can actually experience your spaces in 360 format just by you taking these goggles to them. Even better, Google does what Google does, and they've outsmarted all these other companies, and they've created what they call cardboard. And for $17, you can order these cardboard goggles that literally have the same functionality. The quality is not going to be as great, but trust me, it is still incredible. And so you could either purchase these $17 cardboard goggles and have them used at the same places, housing fair, etc. Or if you had a VIP list of, say, presidents of certain clubs or orgs or athletic coaches, you could actually do a direct mailer of these and get your clubhouse in their hands via the mail. Podcast resident updates. So for $99, you can go on Amazon, and there's a variety of different equipment that you can order. And podcasting is really, it's not a novel idea, but what is happening right now is there's actually entertainment that you can only get via podcast, so it's rising in popularity again. So you can record your property news or any information that you need them to know, upload it to SoundCloud, and at their convenience, when they want it on demand, they can download news about your property. Okay, and then the next idea is Periscope. So this is an app that you can actually stream your events. And what's cool about Periscope is that, in my opinion, is somewhat of a mashup. So while you're actually watching the event via Periscope, the viewers can actually comment about, do they like what they're seeing? They can say, you know, hey girl, I see you, but they are able to commentate and share their emotion on the app while the event is going on. And then, taking a nod from Snapchat, If you miss the event, you have 24 hours to go back and watch. After 24 hours, it's gone forever. And the next idea, this is actually a little camera. It's coming out in April, so just in a couple of days, it's actually going to be released. You can get it pre-order for $299. And what is so cool about this little camera is not only is it great for you to film footage of your property or your special events, maybe even stream it live via Periscope, but if you have multiple cameras, you can download an app on your cell phone so you can toggle between cameras, almost like you're some professional videographer and all you're using is your smartphone, and you're providing a more interesting experience for the people that are viewing your footage. And the next idea that I have for you guys is what's called computers on a stick. So again, for almost all of my ideas, especially anything that has to do with tech, you can Google or just go straight to Amazon.com, and you're going to find a lot of these things that are so easy for you to purchase. What's interesting about these computers on a stick, they're about 99 bucks, and this one little piece of equipment essentially carries the same power and functionality of a full computer. So why would anybody want this without a monitor or a keyboard, etc.? Well, what's great about it is you could use it as a resident gift, and essentially they can throw that in their purse or their backpack, and all they have to do is go to a computer lab and plug into a monitor and a keyboard, and they have all of their information right there, and they didn't have to drag around their heavy laptop or anything like that. They literally have all the functionality of a full-blown computer right there on the computer stick. So you may even want to think about regrouping on your computer lab. You know, instead of adding 10 more computers, you might just have a few stations that are made just for computer sticks. Thanks, Kim. Okay. This is Tasty. So if you are on social media, I'm sure that maybe you've seen this like cartoon graphic before, but Tasty is so cool. They actually have time-lapse videos where they show you how to make some really cool, really delicious, creative recipes. And the idea here is twofold. Number one, we're always looking for interesting content that's shareable. And I know that a lot of people like to follow BuzzFeed, or maybe they create their own content, but sometimes it might be a little racy for your property. So this is very conservative and fun, and it trends. So if you put that out there, you're looking for engagement on your social media platforms. If you use these tasty videos, they go viral quickly, and a lot of kids like to share them around whatever their favorite recipes are. Now, the second part of this is for special events in your clubhouse. So I've done research in the past where the best ROI from the events that we did were for small to medium engagements or events. The large ones were great for exposure and brand awareness, but we really didn't get a lot of leases out of it. But when we had smaller events where we could actually talk to our residents, that's where we formed those relationships that made it easier for us to get our students to renew. So instead of having just a regular like viewing party or something else, you could have a tasty special event where you buy all the supplies and all the ingredients and make these cool recipes together. And I'm almost finished. This slide is going to talk about Brag About It. So this summer, I actually vacationed at a Hard Rock Hotel in the Caribbean. And what was so cool is via email and one of the follow-ups that they sent me before I checked in, they had all of these awesome graphics of their resort, and there were little taglines over it, and all I had to do was click, and from right there I could share it on any social media platform that I was using. So I think this would be great for student housing, where you want these images to go viral. You know that some people are voting yes by signing leases with you, so why let them use their own amateur photo when you can put right in front of them the best photos you have of your property? So on your websites, on your other social media platforms, go ahead and pre-select some of your best images and make them very share-friendly so that your residents can pass them along. And then this is my last slide. So music creates emotion. So I was reading an article from the Chicago Journal of Consumer Research, and essentially there was a lot of detail in it, but fast music that you play, the shoppers actually shopped faster. So when they were in a grocery store, they were in and out a lot quicker. For restaurants, slow music, they actually stayed longer and they dined longer. So what they were correlating that with was how much money they spent. So sometimes you don't want fast. Sometimes you want them to stick around and eat and order another drink, maybe get dessert and spend more money. But whatever is best for you guys, what it absolutely said was that music does affect your mood, and your mood does affect your decision-making factors, like if you want to buy, if you want to spend, how much you want to spend. So think about what you have playing in your clubhouse. Think about what you have playing in your model, and make sure that it's upbeat. It's not too distracting. You might not even want top 40 hits because everybody's going to want to sing along, and you're going to lose their attention. So music absolutely affects your mood, and be very selective when you're choosing the music for your common spaces. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Casey Van Zandt.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And I'm so stoked to be with you guys today to share with you my final 10 super fresh marketing, leasing, motivation ideas to you. So we're going to start it off with FaceTime. And what I love about FaceTime is you can use FaceTime. Next slide, please. Okay. What I love about FaceTime is there's multiple uses that you can utilize it in your day-to-day business. So if you haven't tried FaceTime when you're giving a property tour, it's a fantastic way to personalize what would have been a phone call into an interactive property tour. This is great for students or parents that are out of state, or maybe they're just local and they don't really feel like coming in. You can pretty much give them an entire property tour, sign the lease, get it all knocked out via FaceTime as your initial point of contact. And not only tours, you can use them with follow-up. You can use them with questions for parents. Maybe you're on a tour with an actual student, a physical tour, and you want to patch the parent in just to get that closed right there on the spot. Don't be afraid to FaceTime that experience, patch the parent in, make it a really personalized experience, and you'll be really surprised how quickly that piece of traffic turns into an actual lease. Another thing I like to do is I like to use it for my community assistant staff management. And what you'll do there is if you've got, let's just say you've got 5 CAs out on campus and they're all doing different things. Maybe 2 of them are tabling, 2 of them are handing out flyers, and 1, maybe doing something else. What's nice is rather than them feeling micromanaged, you can FaceTime them just to kind of see how's it going, doing a nice little quick check-in, and you have good peace of mind that they're actually in fact doing what you asked them to do on campus, as opposed to maybe throwing the flyers in the trash and hanging out in their apartment. So again, it also, not only just from the management perspective, it also just kind of makes you be a part of what they're doing, and it's a good sign for teamwork. Next slide is, I like to use texting now as my primary form of follow-up for all of the students. Okay, so if they're actually communicating rather than making that phone call to them, even when it comes to maintenance repairs, requests, where you're following up to see if the work order had been done, or maybe they came in for a tour yesterday and you're wanting to follow up with them, I would highly recommend implementing a property cell phone, or you can also just implement Google phone numbers, and that will allow your staff member to follow up via text. Let's face it, I mean, it's what the demographic wants to communicate. It's how they communicate. So rather than, trying to approach them in our old school way of communication via telephone, try to consider using text anywhere you can for follow-up. The one thing I will say is the parents, when you're following up with them, I would highly recommend calling rather than texting. So that's that for your texting. Next slide. Going into Google Inside, what that is Google will come out and they will document your property in a 3D format, very similar to the virtual reality tours that Jessica mentioned. And what this is going to do is, rather than it just being when someone when someone searches for your property on Google, you'll typically see the Google Outside. And if you get it mapped out for Google Inside, you'll see over to the right where it says See Inside. When you click there, next slide, you'll actually then begin to see 360 footage. And you'll see right here. So what's nice is this is great if you have, like someone really can't come in, and let's just say you don't have access to FaceTime because you may not have anybody on cell phones, for example. This is a nice solution that you can put in place now, because you can utilize this over the telephone via iPad, desktop, or even just through the telephone. You can have your prospect jump on
have them go to this Google Insight, and you can literally walk them through any angle of your property because the entire property, outside and in, has been documented in 360 footage. This right here allows me to do many sight unseen leases, which, let's face it, the faster we can get leases, prospects converted to leases, that's where we're at. So this is a great tool. Again, Google just comes out, maps it out, and voila, you're right there. The next idea I have is, this is interesting, this is a drone, okay, and I don't know why, but you don't need a license to fly a drone. I personally think you should, but hey, I don't make the rules. But if you have a development project, or even if you're just in an awesome location, grab a drone. I guarantee you one of your community assistants or your student workers will know how to fly this sucker, and let them fly the drone around your development so that you can track your progress. And you can also put your videos up on a schedule and share them in social media. You can get the market really excited about your progress, and it's just a nice, fun way, a different way to interact. Videos are everything right now, so why not take advantage of a drone? They're pretty inexpensive. Your student teams can have a lot of fun with them. Highly, highly recommend those. And then we'll move into just some of my favorite apps, and these are wonderful. Word Swag. This is a nice way if you're trying just to get an image to look a little bit more professional or just have a little bit more of a pop and presence on your social media. Use Word Swag, and you'll look up at the right where it says App Ass Crazy. That image, that was created through Word Swag. It probably took me a total of 3 minutes to do the whole thing, and it looks pretty good, I have to say. The next one is Canva. This one's a little bit more technical. It's a little bit more, I would say, advanced as far as being able to utilize it, but this is another wonderful way of just designs made easy. The new thing right now, or it might not be so new, but it's present, are the GIFs, GIFs. And this app, Legend, will let you create any animated text into a GIF, and these are really popular on Snapchat. So if you're building storyboards on Snapchat, or you're even trying to use this functionality on Instagram, download this app, and this will at least let the information that you're trying to put out there via text, it will animate into a GIF. And from there, you know, you're speaking your student's language, because right now that's kind of what they're working with. So that's just a nice little tip for you. Again, these are my 3 favorite apps. And then we'll move into my absolute favorite social media platform, and that one is Instagram. And I am absolutely Instagram obsessed. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at KCV Yoga. And I, pardon my plug there, but I like to have a lot of fun on there. But here's some of the tricks that I've learned that have helped my clients as well as myself in terms of developing your brand on Instagram. You want to target your top influencers. So look at your top hashtags in your market. They're obviously going to be surrounded by the university, maybe the Greek system, the football team. Find your top influencers that are active. From there, you're going to somewhat stalk them, not really, yeah, kind of, you're going to stalk them. From there, you're going to kind of watch what they're doing, and you're going to start to like, and you're going to start to interact on their pages. And let's face it, people like when they've been noticed, especially on these social media platforms. So if your property starts liking, you know, the different groups or the cheerleaders or different things on campus, you start liking those people and following, you're now being a part of their community, and the chances of them liking you or following you back are a little bit higher. It really does work, and you need to make it more of a personal connection. So looking at Instagram, maybe not so much as making one post a day. I would say spend dedicated, I quote, Twitter time. Dedicate 30 minutes to Instagram a day, and maybe majority of that time is kind of trolling the news feed and really liking and participating and engaging in these top influencers' pages. Let me think if there's anything else I want to say on Twitter. Oh, when I was talking about Twitter time, what I meant by that is Twitter takes a lot of time to actually do it right. So same for Instagram. Instagram is just to reiterate, it's not a one post a day. If you spend time on the back end really engaging with top influencers, it really will make a difference there. All right, we're going to switch gears over into Facebook. So if you have a Facebook business page, one thing that I see a lot of people do, when you actually interact as that business page, what ends up happening is sometimes you actually accidentally interact as your admin, the actual physical person that set up the page. So be sure to go in, if you look on this picture over to the right, right under message, it's the 3 dots. If you click that, you can select like as your page. So as you are now trolling Facebook as your business, as your brand, you're representing your brand fully. So this is a really cool little feature that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So again, maybe take a look there. And then also when you're using Facebook, especially your business pages, don't forget about your cover photo, okay? So your cover photo you'll see over to the left on mine. So when I actually sized it, you'll see where my initial offering is actually getting kind of chopped off by my name, right? So when you actually put it in, I want you to check everything. I want you to check your mobile and your desktop and your iPad view just to make sure that the positioning is proper. So if you look at the picture over to the middle, I've now moved it so that it fits better on the screen and you can actually see what it is I'm offering. What I like here is you put a call to action in your cover photo, and you can use either of those apps that I suggested. You can use WordSwag, Canva. There are hundreds. Those just happen to be my favorite, so you pick what you want. But put a nice little visual there so that people will want to click on that, and they're going to actually receive something. So if you're, this in my offering is I'm offering a free meeting organizer worksheet. And by the way, if you want one of those organizers, just go onto my website, opt in, and I'll be glad to email you one. But this is legit. So from there, once you actually click on that, a lot of people will forget about the copy within the cover photo. So that's a great opportunity for copy, and that's a great opportunity to send prospects to your property website without having to pay for anything. So your cover photo is free. Your WordSwag, I think, is like $1 total for the app. You pop that in, and then you have a good shot just from writing good copy to maybe send them over to your website. So again, this is free. Try it out, and I hope it helps you out. And then we'll move into geo-targeted boosts. I am seeing a ton of success with geo-targeted boosts, and they work really nicely for orientations. Anytime you have a sporting event, or let's just say you know students are going to be in one area, or maybe parents are going to be in one area. They're super, super simple. You don't need a super high-end techie type person to run it. You basically go in, you set your directions, you set it up to get directions. You can also specify your reach based off of age and gender. You can get really, really specific in that layering. And then from there, you're going to pick your custom radius, which is, I'd say in most cases, 1 mile from us, because we're likely all at least 1 mile from campus. You can also customize that radius. If you drop all the way down, if you look at that if you look at the third image, if you go all the way down to custom, you can specify there. And then you just go ahead and set up your duration, 7, 14, or 28 days, and boom, you're ready to run. So this is really, really an awesome feature. So I highly, highly recommend that one too. The last one is roommate matching. So we all know the deal. It's tough to roommate match. It's tough even if they've given you every possible preference that they've given, and they've given it to you honestly. So at one of my communities, we are opting out on the roommate matching. We are actually saying, we're taking a bold statement in the market and saying we're not in the business of roommate matching. And what we're doing is we're pushing it back on the residents. And this is primarily because we have double occupancy. So you know, we've got a 3-bedroom with 6 total people. So it's, let's be real, it's hard enough to place 3 people in a 3-bedroom, but placing 2 people to share a room within 3 bedrooms, it's really tough, and it puts a lot of unexpected expectation on us. So we put that out in the market, and what we've done is we've created a private Facebook group where once they've signed their lease, we invite them to join this private Facebook group. They jump on there, they do their networking, they select their roommates, and they just let us know, like, hey, we picked this roommate, and this is who we're going to live with. It is working super awesome. We are absolutely loving it. The one thing I will say is this is new. This is a new concept. To my knowledge, I don't know of many people doing this in the business, so I can't tell you that it's foolproof. I can't tell you that it's 100%. However, what I can tell you is we're 75% pre-leased, and we have majority of everybody has already selected their roommates. So I'd say so far it's working, but I still will label it a TBD because we're still not at that final home stretch. But I will likely blog on it. So if you want more information, jump on over to my website, and I'll keep you in the loop as far as if it works or not in the end.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. But more importantly, thank you so much to all of our presenters, to Kim, to Kate, to Barry, Jessica, and Casey. You guys were amazing. I am super fresh to death. I have to just say WTF and OMG. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks again to our presenters. I just want to say 2 things. One is the Student Housing Conference date and site are set for next year. We're back in Chicago on February 13th and 14th. So mark your calendars and start building a case to join us there. I also want to let you all know that if you have signed up for this webinar, you will receive a follow-up email sometime tomorrow or Monday that has a link to a recording of this webinar. So if you missed anything, it's coming right to your mailbox. So stay tuned, and thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in Chicago next February. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
No, you too.